What's up, guys? Eli here, back for a new stuff video. I got 5 brand new releases, well, 2023 releases, I should say. Maybe not necessarily brand new, but yeah, let's see what I got. First, we got the 10th full-length album, How It Ends from Primordial. Primordial formed back in 1992 in Dublin, Ireland. This is their first album in God, probably 5 years or so. They're not a band that just cranks albums out constantly, and they didn't want to release an album during the pandemic, and I can't really blame them. Wasn't a source of inspiration for most people. I've already done a review of full review of this album if you want to check that out for more in depth. But what I will say after spending a little bit more time with it, it is the most, I don't want to say most unique album in their discography, but it is their most, this album sounds in a lot of ways, and on a lot of these songs, it sounds a bit different than everything that they've done up until this. It's a bit more heavy metal. It's much less on the black metal. This is the least black metal thing that they've ever done, which I don't know if I'd say I was surprised by that, but maybe a little bit. It took me a bit to get used to because it sounds like Primordial. Don't get me wrong, but it is quite a bit different. I don't know if the band would agree to that, but as a listener, as a fan, I don't want to say jarringly different, but it threw me for a loop. We'll leave it at that. I really like it. This is, I've been working on a top 10 for the end of the year, and this is right now. It's kind of fighting for my number 1 or number 2 so far. I still have quite a few albums. I still have like 20 or 30 albums that I want to listen to before the end of the year. But so far, and I've listened to quite a few, 15 or 20 probably, and it's like I said, it's battling for either the first or second spot. So. Anyone else? Do I have any Primordial fans that watch my channel? Nobody ever really seems to. When I talk about them, nobody ever really seems to chime in. So just out of curiosity, one of my all-time favorite bands. So I always love talking about them. Then I've got Horrendous with Ontological Mysterium. Horrendous formed back in 2009 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was on board with this band from at least their debut album. I can't remember if I was into their demo before that, but at least the debut album. Back then they were playing more of just kind of a standard, old school sounding death metal. You could tell that they were good musicians from an early age. They would quickly change their style. They would become more technical with every album. And I'll admit, I have not listened to this yet, so I'm not gonna talk in depth. I just picked it up, so haven't listened to it yet. But so their last few albums, especially their last one, they've gotten more and more progressive and more technical. Their second album, I'm going to revisit that because for some reason, I don't know why. Maybe it's because it got so much hype. I wasn't super into it when it came out, despite everyone around me being like, this is amazing. And I believe that it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing against that, but I'd like to revisit that. Now, their third album completely lost me, did nothing for me at all. Even if I wasn't the biggest fan of their first 2, that third album I don't know what it was. It seemed bland. It did not grab me at all. And I know other people that feel that way too. But their fourth album from a couple years back, again, they got more progressive and more technical, but it just worked for me. I thought it was quite a good album. I loved it, actually. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what they do next. I'm assuming they're going, maybe further in that technical angle, but I don't know. Excited to listen. By the way, if you hear some weird sounds, Louis chewing on one of his new toys. It's got, instead of a squeaky thing inside of it, it's got one of those things where it sounds like a plastic bag, so it's extra annoying. Yeah, he loves it, so. And I've got the 9th album from Dying Fetus, Make Them Beg for Death. Dying Fetus formed in 1991 in Baltimore, Maryland. Hold on. I'm going to take that from him. It's this. Here, take that toy. And I haven't heard this album yet either. I just picked it up, but I'm hearing a lot of good things. I really liked their last album. It was just the perfect balance of brutal, simple brutal death metal and the more, complex technical stuff. They just right down the middle, perfect. And I'm hearing that this album is as good or better than that. I'm loving how they're bringing back the old logo, at least to some extent. It's on the back a little bigger because they had a cool logo. Yeah, I'm they kind of went for they did what a lot of bands would do and just went for like a plain font. I'm not sure why, but I feel like the demand. A lot of bands did that, but I feel like the demand for the old logo is kind of coming back. Immolation brought their old logo back, and yeah, I love when bands do that because let's face it, those old logos were just way better. Super stoked to listen to it again, hearing nothing but really good things. And we've got a band that formed very recently out of Bellingham, Washington. We've got Come Horrid Sigil with their debut EP, Dead Obelisk. I've already reviewed this in its entirety if you want to check that out. But, I've spent a little bit more time with it, listened to it a few more times. I dig this, man. I stand by everything I said in the review. This is just really, really good melodic death metal. If you like early to mid-90s In Flames and At the Gates and stuff like that, this will please you. They have their own sound and their own ideas, don't get me wrong. This isn't just, more of the same melodic death metal, mid-90s Gothenburg worship. This is a lot more than that, in my opinion. And I think that can't be argued with if you listen to the whole EP, especially those last two songs on it. I mean, there's tons of unique ideas going on there. So yeah, really good melodic death metal. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And to be honest, this got me going on kind of a melodic death metal kick. So it got me, re-interested in some of the early to mid-90s stuff that I really like. Definitely check it out. I think they have it, if I remember correctly, on their Bandcamp, $10 shipped. So $10, boom, it's yours in your mailbox. Then we've got this, man, I really didn't see this coming. At least I hadn't read anything about it, but we got the debut Fabricant album, Drudge to the Thicket. Now, Fabricant formed back in 2010 in Lafayette, California. I didn't know either that there was a Lafayette in California, but there is. Now, interesting history about this. This came out on Profound Lore, by the way. I kind of failed to say record labels for those other albums. Whoops. Profound Lore. Now, interesting history with this band. This is their first recording in 10 years. Their debut full length, like I said. They had a demo, their first demo they did back in 2010 that got them a lot of attention. And, they were a band for a couple years after that, and then they just went away. And I remember listening to that demo in 2010, and it was really good. It really, I don't know what you'd call it. It's definitely experimental death metal. Now, I heard that this is along the lines of that demo, or at least along the lines of the weirdness that they had. But I'm really, really excited to hear this. I actually would like to revisit that demo. It's been 13 years since I've heard it. I remember liking it back when it came out. So what I want to do is I want to re-listen to that demo, and then I want to listen to this so I can have kind of a comparison. But I've heard this is great. So I haven't listened to it yet. So I'm sorry, so I can't say too much about it. But all I can say is if you like your death metal weird, experimental, kind of avant-garde, progressive, having not listened to this yet, I'm already going to recommend it because I have some friends that whose opinion I trust told me it's great. And again, I really liked their debut demo so much that when I heard that they were putting out a full length, I didn't even have to think about it. I remembered exactly who they were, and I instantly wanted to get this. I don't know exactly when this came out, but I knew it was out. I just hadn't ordered it or anything. Found it sitting at my local record store, and I nabbed it. So I gotta get on that soon. Excited to hear it. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's those are all the 2023 albums I've bought recently. I have a couple on order. They seem to be taking forever to get in, so I kind of wanted to wait for those two to come in before I did this, but who knows? It could be another week or two, or who the fuck knows nowadays. So I'll talk about those when they show up. And since these are new releases, I don't know. I've already reviewed 2 out of the 5. Maybe if I get the urge to do so, I'll review maybe some of these others. I don't know. It'd be fun. I always have a lot going on, so I kind of just let when it comes to album reviews, it's not something I'm going to do super frequently. I just kind of wait until I hear something that I just feel like reviewing. But yeah, I'm enjoying the challenge of it. I think some of my reviews have turned out pretty good, at least for me. So hopefully you guys enjoy them too. I hope you guys are having a good week, whatever day this falls on. And let's get talking about these new albums. Feel free to tell me if you've heard any of them. I'd like to hear your thoughts, because half that stuff I haven't even heard yet. Tell me if you've heard them, or if you have any recommendations for some of your favorite albums from this year. Tell me about those too. Maybe I'll check them out. Maybe I won't. Probably I will, or at least I'll try. Anyways, guys, we'll talk soon. Cheers.